Respected media person, today National Shipping Board, they have organized Sagar Sanmad 2026 with the discussion with the dialogue with the policymakers, industry representatives, ship owner, experts, maritime trainees to discuss the sectoral growth priorities. Because this particular discussion, dialogue, ultimately going to help the ministry for the effective policy making process. The National Shipping Board new mandate is under the Merchant Shipping Act 2025. The National Shipping Board will provide strengthened policy advice to the government on shipping, tonnage, seafarer welfare, and port-linked maritime development, while serving a structured platform for industry and stakeholder consultation. National Shipping Board today, the annual reports 25-26 outlining policy input and recommendation for the government is published. National Shipping Board website is also launched. 100 new vessels. India plans to add to its merchant fleet over the next 5 years to increase Indian participation in the movement of country's trade. $75 billion foreign freight bill. India currently pays around $75 billion annually to foreign shipping line to transport its cargo, highlighting the need to strengthen Indian tonnage. That is why, under the Maritime Amritkal vision, this target has been set that by 2047, we are going to include 419 vessels, which will increase our tonnage capacity to 4.5 million tonnage. Then National Shipping Board has also proposed the 5-point roadmap, that is fiscal reforms, assured cargo support, competitive financing, regulatory streamlining, and improved ease of doing business. These all measures are mainly to fulfill the vision of Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047 and becoming one of the world's top 5 ship-owning nation. India wants to raise its share of the global seafarers workforce to more than 20% by 2030. As part of Maritime Vision 2030, we want to increase our participation in the supply chain of seafarers from 12% to 20%. And as you know, that India could able to register its second position in terms of the seafarer supply chain. First position, of course, there is Philippines. Philippines has recorded 4,50,000 and India has recorded 3,23,000 so far. But our target by 2030 is 6 lakhs. So that's the volume we are going to create in the participation of the global shipping lines and Indian seafarers' strength. So there's also one more point: seafarer training, greater training capacity and stronger training system and closer industry institution coordinations are needed to meet global demand for skilled Indian seafarers. So, as you know, for shipbuilding whatever budgetary provision has already been created, and to create an adequate ecosystem for shipbuilding and ship repairs. We require not only the clusters, not only the infrastructure, but at the same time, we require quality, high-end skilled workforce to make this particular movement possible. So that is why we are creating in the entire country the skill development center to create quality workforce to meet the demand of the shipbuilding. So these are the important points we have discussed today, and National Shipping Board is continuously having dialogue with all the stakeholders involved into this particular maritime sector, all the stakeholders, and they are seeking their suggestion and also listening to their difficulties, because whatever difficulties, whatever issue they raise, we have to address it adequately so that we could work as a team, because this particular ministry in the like EXIM cargo or in others like this thing sector also, we need our integrated efforts. So that is why an ecosystem needs to be created in such a manner that all the stakeholders feel like comfortable, and also we could also create win-win situation for all of them. So this is the like the total number of progress so far, and we have one more session to come again. So I believe in that session also many more things, many more subjects will be discussed in detail. Thank you.
Sir, only 2 points.
Yeah.
One is that you said 100 new vessels will be added. So as of today, how many vessels are there? Number you are talking about seafarer safety. So fortunately we have been able to bring all the Indian ships out of Hormuz, but there is a problem of piracy. How are you actually dealing with it?
In this sector, all our concerned agencies, they are working day and night, and particularly we are committed for the safety, security and welfare of our seafarers wherever they are working. That is why tracking facilities on the digital platform that DG Shipping have already developed, and we are also there, creating dashboards and also helpline, so that every seafarer wherever they are working, whether it is foreign flag or Indian flag, they could communicate and they could raise their issues before DG Shipping.
As of now, how many ships are there in Indian ships? Like you will be adding 100 more. Yes.
Yeah, hills.
Close to 1,500 vessels are there.
Yes.
Because in every year you have certain vessels which are deregistered
Okay, sir.
and certain vessels which are registered.
Sir.
Now we have made certain path-breaking changes. One, the entire registration process has been rendered digital.
Yes, sir.
So earlier used to take 30 days. The vessel had to be presented in a port in India for
Yes,
a
sir.
port of registration.
Yes,
We can now do the registry in a single day digitally, including basically the registry for the mortgage, the provisional registry. This is faster than a maritime hub like Singapore. Secondly, what we have done is we have allowed specific entities to own vessels specifically for purposes, for instance, the low capital acquisition such as the bareboat charter demise. Now in this you can bring the vessel into the registry without paying upfront the full capital cost. The third we have also further stated is that certain fractional ownership and also overseas citizen of India, our joint ventures, our limited liability companies can also register vessels. Separately, under the GIFT City dispensation, we are also looking at an outward ship registry where you can bring and register a vessel for EXIM operations not touching the coast of India. So all of this, including the fact that for ship recycling, we are now providing 40% as the value for ship recycling credit note and temporary registration for ships which are to be recycled. So India is going to be the biggest maritime hub for gravitating and bringing in new registries. Also, we are looking at the age norms in such a manner that compliant vessels can be brought into the entry for registration under the Indian
Yeah.
flag.
सर एक छोटा सा सवाल है कि अभी जो इंग्लिश में आपने बताया कि इन किडनैपिंग और खासतौर पे अभी जो हमारे
Piracy.
नाविक हैं सीफेयर हैं उनकी सुरक्षा को लेकर के उस मंत्रालय की क्या बातचीत हो रही है और जो इनके परिवार हैं यहाँ पे उनसे क्या संपर्क में हैं आप लोग जो नाविक हैं जो वहाँ पे काम करते हैं उनको उनकी सेफ्टी को लेकर के मंत्रालय की तरफ से
सेफ्टी के सिलसिले में हमारे डीजी शिपिंग 24/7 उनकी बातचीत हो रहा है और हमारी तरफ से जो भी इस सेक्टर में जो भी विभाग कंसर्न लाइक एजेंसीज एंड डिपार्ट दे आर ऑल लाइक इन टू दिस पर्टिकुलर जॉब सो दैट लाइक दे कुड एंश्योर देयर सेफ्टी या
सर क्या अल्टरनेटिव रूट्स वगैरह पे भी चर्चा हो रही है क्योंकि कई सारे जहाज ऐसे आए हैं जिनके ऊपर कुछ तमाम तरह की चीजें हुई और
जैसे यमन और सोमालिया में हुआ जिसमें 22 नाविक जो है बंधक बनाए गए।
देखिए हमारी तरफ से दुनिया में जितना भी अपॉर्चुनिटी है फॉर अल्टरनेटिव रूट एवरीथिंग वी आर गोइंग टू एक्सप्लोर बिकॉज वी वांट टू एंश्योर दैट आवर लाइक वेसल continuously carrying forward their voice with cargo and meeting the global needs and also the need of our nation. So that is why we are continuously working on it and we are successfully handling.
So one question. So some seafarers are alleging that they are not getting a timely response from unions and from DG Shipping. Is there a grievance redressal mechanism in place?
Yeah, of course, grievance redressal is there. Like in this sector, like particularly as I have already said, that we have created this digital system so that like everyone can be communicate within time. So I believe there is no crisis in it. Whatever initiative is required to be taken so that we could reach our every seafarers and their family, next of kin, everyone. So this has been developed in such a manner. Now I think whatever you are saying, in this sector, we have already completed our entire approach. Yeah.
Sir, one question. So one is that families of seafarers who died in the Strait of Hormuz. A lot of families have alleged that while the SWFS pays them whatever is necessary, insurance payouts by ship owners and also those who got general term insurance policies, they are not getting the insurance amount because of certain clauses that insurance companies are citing that they entered war zones and things like that.
Yeah.
So one, is that something that you are in touch with different departments of the government or these insurers to ensure that a fair payout is happening to these seafarer families from the both insurance and seafarer side? Second question is that Somali piracy is not a new phenomenon. It has been there in the past, and Indian naval presence has been active whenever these issues have sprouted up. I remember last there was a wave in 2023-24 when that happened. And we didn't really have incidents. We would have a lot of alerts, and IFC IOR would also be on constant vigil. But we didn't really have incidents. So is there any sort of a modification or is there any sort of a restriction on the naval presence in the area which is causing these sort of fears for seafarers, or where response is probably not up to the mark, or maybe in the sense that I think as some of the one stakeholder said that the response doesn't need to necessarily be preventive. It needs to be preventive rather than responsive. So
DG will respond to you. Yeah.
See, the first issue is regarding the insurance claims. Now, the insurance claims are specifically the SWFS, including we have the NUSI and MUI. For all deaths immediately in the conflict zone, 10 lakh rupees has immediately been given. The PNI cover is something which now we are contending with the insurer based on the specific clauses, and most of the cases have got a seafarer's employment agreement. So whatever amount is insured there for the seafarer's life, that essentially we will ensure is basically met. The second issue regarding piracy and the naval deployment, there is an institutional structure which is basically there, the COSAP, and there is active Indian naval presence. Also answering the gentleman here, see, piracy, I will humbly appeal to you. Negotiations essentially are long drawn. They are subject also to a kidnap and ransom policy. So the less it is publicized, the better chances for us to negotiate release. And regarding the deployment and presence, throughout the entire extraction of the vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and the maximum number of Indian seafarers in the conflict zone, the entire naval presence and the coordination both on the northern transit and the southern transit was purely under the coordination actively of the Naval Central Command and the DGNO. I will not say more than that.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.